السلام
Okay.
ورحمة الله وبركاته.
You're breaking up there. Look, Mike, can you hear me? Look, Mike.
I think my connection.
Okay.
جاكنا مولانا.
Okay. بسم الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فصل الأسئلة المتوجهة على القياس ثمانية. So the objections with regard to قياس is of 8 types. الممانعة, that is the refutation.
You can just read the title, that's fine.
it doesn't say, it just says فصل on my kitab.
Oh, don't you have the rest of it? All 8 of it? Don't you have it? Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم إنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك ونور قلوبنا بمعرفتك واشرح صدورنا بنور كتابك وسنة نبيك وحفظنا أنزلنا من الخطأ في بيان مرادك. So this chapter is actually related to Munadhara. So that's why some of the kitabs don't have, some of the Usool kitabs don't have this particular fasal, because it is more related to Munadhara. Munadhara means debate. When you're having a debate with somebody and they produce a argument, the person producing the argument is called a mu'allil, then how to answer that person's argument or give a rebuttal to that particular person's arguments. And so the person arguing against is called a sa'il. So they're saying that there are 8 ways of doing so. The first one is called mumana'a, which means to refute. And I've got the others here: والقول بموجب العلة والقلب والعكس وفساد الوضع والفرق والنقص والمعارضة. Anyway, that will come inshallah. So the first one is mumana'a, where you refute. It's of 2 types. You either refute the sifa, meaning the illah, meaning that you disagree with your khasam, with your opponent, that what they claiming to be the illah, you say, no, that's not the illah, something else is the illah. Or the second type is mumanat al-hukam, where you reject or you refute the hukam which your opponent has arrived at. And we agree with you in the illah, but the hukam, the ruling that you're deriving from there, is not like that, it's incorrect. It should be like this. So that's the 2 types of mumana. We'll explain that now and we'll give examples of both. James, yeah?
Maulana can read that first part. I see it easier on the PDF. You're on the top.
Okay.
So it's
Amal
not confusing for the
mumana'atu.
others.
Amal mumana'at from there.
No, from Auto Mumana'a, because I see on the PDF that's on the screen, it says والقول بموجبة العلة.
Yeah,
So
I read it. I did read it, so it's fine. I'm not going to translate it. When we get there, we'll translate it. So those are the 8 in short. ممانعة قول
okay.
بموجب العلة قول عكس وفساد ووضع وفرق والنقض والمعارضة. So those are the 8 types of objections that you could possibly place before your opponent in order to what do you say, win the argument or refute the claims. So the first one, أما الممانعة فنوعان. As regards ممانعة, which means refutation, it is of 2 types. أحدهما منع الوصف والثاني منع الحكم. The first step is where you refute the wasf, meaning the illah. You disagree that what they claiming to be the illah is the illah. والثاني منع الحكم, and the second one is where you refute the hukam, the ruling that they're deriving from the illah. We agree with the illah, but we disagree with the hukam that you're deriving. ومثال في قولهم, the example of that is صدقة الفطر واجبت بالفطر فلا تسقط بموته ليلة الفطر. That they say, for example, that صدقة الفطر, it is wajib because of fitr. The illah is fitr. Okay, so sadaqatul fitr, zakatul fitr, the illah for it is fitr, meaning not fast. So Eid al-Fitr, or when the first day of not fasting comes in, the first day of Shawwal, from Maghrib sunset, so then that will make صدقة الفطر compulsory upon the person. فلا تسقط بموته ليلة الفطر. So it will not be waived by that person passing away on the night of Eid al-Fitr. So if the person is born after Maghrib, or becomes a Muslim for that matter after Maghrib, on the night of Eid, right, so Maghrib onwards, then even if the person passed away, so a child was born at after Maghrib, or somebody passed away after Maghrib, or became Muslim after Maghrib. So because at the time of these events, it was already the night of Eid, and that is an illah for instituting the Sadaqah al-Fitr. Therefore, it will be necessary for them also still to pay the Sadaqah al-Fitr. Right? وكذلك إذا now we say obviously that that's not the illah. So we say that's not the illah, but rather قلنا لا نسلم وجوبها بالفطر. We do not agree, we do not accept that the Sadaqah al-Fitr becomes compulsory because of fitr. Rather, but إننا تجب برأس يمونه ويلي عليه. Rather, it becomes compulsory because of a person that you are in charge of taking care of and seeing to their affairs. Because the Ra's means shakhs. Like in English also we say sometimes when we charge people for food or for entry into a particular place, they'll say, for example, 150 rand per head. Understand? So 150 rand per head means per person. So in the same way, تجب برأس أي بشخص يمون. It becomes compulsory because of any person يمون معنى يمون to look after that you are responsible for ويلي عليه and you are administrating the affairs. In other words, they are under your supervision and care. So wherever there is, whether it be in those days, the slaves, your children, not your wife has to pay her own, your children, your slaves, any other person that you're looking after and taking care of, you will have to pay Sadaqah al-Fitr for yourself and those that are under your care. So because that is the case, understand? So therefore, Sadaqah al-Fitr only becomes compulsory on the morning of Fitr, meaning from Subh Sadiq onwards of the next day, from the day of Eid from Subh Sadiq onwards. So if a person has to pass away the night, that person is not compulsory upon him to give the Sadaqah al-Fitr because they passed away before the Illah came into effect. Understood?
Sure.
Right. Now, obviously, okay, I'm going to that. وكذلك, second example. This is actually an example of ممانعة الحكم, where we don't accept the hukum, not illa. Although it seems like this is a second example of the same thing. In reality, this is actually an example of ممانعة الحكم. وكذلك إذا كان, and similarly we said قدر الزكاة واجب في الذمة, that the amount payable for zakat is compulsory within the responsibility of someone. فلا يسقط بهلاك النصاب كالدين. So it is not waived by the nisab of zakat becoming destroyed like a debt. Okay, so what you have to understand here is that there's a difference between amana and a debt. An amana, somebody leaves something by you, physical something, or money leaves by you. Some person left some money by you, or left whatever, a watch or a pen or phone, whatever. Understand? So when the person asks for his amana to be returned, you have to give back that exact thing which he gave you. You can't replace it with a like. Then because you're not allowed to use it in any way, it's just by you for safekeeping. You can't use it. But when you borrow money, obviously you're going to need to use the money. So you can't return the exact same money that you borrowed from the person, but you'll borrow another amount, you borrow other money equal to the amount you borrowed. So you borrowed 500 rand, for example, or 500 pounds. You're not going to give back that exact 500 pounds or rands that you're going to spend for whatever you borrowed the money for. And now you're going to maybe get money from somebody else or from your earnings or whatever, and give that person 500 rand. It's not the same 500 rand, it's a replacement. But because why? Because when it comes to a debt, you are responsible for paying back the amount You are not responsible for giving and returning that thing that was given to you. The exact thing that was given to you, right? So you are responsible for repaying something, unlike an amanat where you have to return something. Okay, so the thing zakat is the same. That way, if the zakat became compulsory upon you, and before you paid it, the whole amount became destroyed through no fault of yours. It was stolen, or you became insolvent, whatever the case is. To protect us, and then it is still a debt on your head. It's still something which is owing from you, just like our debt. If you lost that 500 which you borrowed, you can't say, no, I'm insolvent. Therefore, no. It doesn't work like that in Islam. It doesn't matter if you go bankrupt, become insolvent, yet you still owe that money. And somehow or the other, you'll have to pay that money. So in the same way with zakat, is a debt which you owe to the Sharia, even if you lose the entire nisab, for no fault of yours, you still have to pay it back. Cool. Now this I didn't understand so nicely. I'm translated, but it's a bit fuzzy. Anyway, قلنا لا نسلم أن قدر الزكاة واجب في الذمة بل أداؤه واجب. So we say we don't accept that the exact amount of zakah has become wajib as in that person's liability, in that person's responsibility. But أداؤه واجب, but rather paying the amount is wajib, compulsory. Okay? So not the amount itself is not compulsory, but to pay the amount of to pay that amount is wajib. To pay that amount is wajib, compulsory. وَلَئِنْ قَالَ, and now if somebody has to respond to our rebuttal, and they say, الواجب أداء فلا يسكت بهلاك كالدين. So they say that it's compulsory to pay it. Since it's compulsory to pay it, so it still doesn't become it's still not waived, just like I did. So in debt, you say the same thing. You say the same thing in debt. It is compulsory for the person to pay the debt. And it doesn't become waived just because you lost the money. It doesn't fall away, it doesn't become maaf just because you lost the money. So the same thing here. So whether you agree with us, or whether it is wajib fi dhimma, or whether it is wajib ada'u, comes to the same thing. What's the difference? Okay, that's the كالدين بعد المطالبة, just like how a debt is after the person demands that you repay the money that they borrowed you. And so that's the translation. Like I said, I don't understand the answer that they gave. قلنا لا نسلم أن الأداء واجب في سورة الدين بل حرم المنع حتى يخرج عن العهدة بالتخلية. So we say we don't accept that the payment is compulsory in the case of a debt. Ada is not compulsory. Paying the money is not compulsory in the case of a debt, but rather it is impermissible not to pay or to refuse to pay. And so it's not the person's responsibility to pay the debt, but it is a responsibility not to refuse to pay the debt. حتى يخرج عن عهدة, so that he can be absolved of his responsibility بالتخلية, by allowing the creditor to take his money. وهذا من قبيل منع الحكم. And this type here, the second example, is from the type of man al-hukam, where we don't accept the hukam that you are applying, not the illa. Okay? Like I said, it's not very clear. I don't understand where they're going with the argument. What's the difference between not refusing to pay the debt and paying the debt? I'll look up some more, but I couldn't find it anyway. Allah alam, so Allah knows best. And because there are any shuruhat on this kitab, it's actually very difficult. If something is mentioned in this kitab is not mentioned in any other usul kitab, it's actually quite difficult to find some explanations for some of the things. Okay. وكذلك إذا قال, and similarly it is said, المسح ركن في باب الوضوء فليسن تثليثه كالغسل. If it is said that Masah is a rukan, a, a pillar in the chapter of wudu. Then your wudu is not correct without you fulfilling this particular pillar of wudu, meaning the fard of wudu, compulsory act of wudu. So therefore, it is sunnah to do the masah 3 times as you would with those limbs that you wash. Just like how you, the limbs that you wash 3 times, those limbs which are compulsory to wash. In a similar way, that limb, the head, meaning which is compulsory to do masah, it's also compulsory for you to make tathleeth, to wipe 3 times. Okay?
Sure.
So they're saying that is a rukun, you have to do it 3 times. This is a rukun, you have to do it 3 times. Cool, now we respond by saying, La nusalli, we say only once. La nusalli anna tathleeth masnunun fil ghasl. So we say we don't accept your premise, we don't accept your claim that to wash the limbs 3 times is sunnah in the washed limbs. Understand? بل إطالة الفعل في محل الفرض زيادة على المفروض. But rather, it is to extend the action in those places where it is compulsory for you to do an action in order to lengthen the fard. In those places it is compulsory for you to do an action to lengthen the fard. That is originally what is sunnah. In other words, the purpose of the sunnah is to complete the fard and to make itmam of the fard by extending the fard to the extent that it is completed comfortably. And the second example from Salah. The Sunnah Qira, the Farz Qira in Salah is 1 ayah or 1 long ayah or 3 short ayahs, right? That's the Farz. But the Sunnah Qira is those different surahs, in a sense, where you read much more than that. Okay, for example, in Maghrib, to read from the Kisar al-Mufassal, anyway from Lam Yakun till Nas. Okay? So what is the purpose of the Sunnah? The purpose of the Sunnah is to lengthen the Qira'at so that it can be completed. If you just only read one ayah, 3 ayahs, the fard will be completed, but you might end up rushing through the salah, so you won't be have itminan. There'll not be itminan in your salah, so you'll be up, down, back to town type of faith. So the purpose of the sunnah is to try and extend the fard, in those actions that is fard, to extend the fard action, and within the fard, staying within the fard, so that the fard can be completed. That's the original purpose of the sunnah. But in wudu, that's not possible, because it is the fard portion of the face is what you call it has been demarcated. The fard of the arm has been demarcated from the tip of the fingers to the elbow. You can't go beyond it. There's no way to extend beyond it, because anything beyond it is not fard. If you're going to have to wash the upper arms, you're not sticking within the fard parameters. You're not sticking within the parameters of the fard. So there's no way to lengthen the fard in the fard acts of wudu, except through repeating the action. That's the only way you can lengthen the action, by repeating the same action 3 times. Follow?
Sure.
So the 3 times in reality is in place of the itala. It is not because of the rukn.
Sure.
So therefore, the original thing in the masah also is just once. It's like the fard. Originally just supposed to do it once. But in order so that we don't rush through the wudu, end up leaving a portion dry, like if we only wash your arms once, you see many times people's elbows are dry because they're rushing through wudu. Understand? So by repeating the action, that's the only way for us to lengthen the action and to complete the fard in a way that it is not incomplete. So we call in the case of the head, we can do that. Why? Because the fard portion is only 3 hairs according to the Shawafi, or a quarter of the head according to the Ahnaf. So we can extend that by going over the whole head, doing the sunnah of the whole head, and in that way we can stick to what the original, which is doing the action once. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, Italat al-Qiyam al-Qiraat, just like how we lengthen Qiyam, the standing posture, and the recitation in the chapter of Salah. However, أن الإطالة في باب الغسل لا يتصور. However, the problem is that the lengthening of the action in washing the limbs in wudu, لا يتصور. This cannot be imagined. This cannot be realized. We can't do that. إلا بالتكرار, except by repetition. That's the only way we can have إطالة الفعل. That's the only way we can extend the fi'l. Why? لاستيعاب الفعل للمحل, in order to encompass and to complete the action within the fard portion, within the demarcated portion of the fard action. Okay?
Sure.
وبمثله نقول في باب المس. So we say the same thing in regarding the matter of mas. بأن إطالة مسنون, that to lengthen the action is sunnah بطريق الاستيعاب, and we can do so in masa by encompassing the entire head, by covering the entire head. Understood that?
Sure. So to perfect the fard, basically.
Now, what does this you send you the message? I didn't understand.
Now that's a question with regards to, but I'll explain Moulana after. Which is the question?
Okay, so this is the previous lesson, isn't it?
Sure.
Okay, take it. Okay. Khair. So, shall I understand that?
Sure. So it's just to perfect the fard. So by doing
Yes.
to the head.
Yes. So
Sure.
it can be affected by the masah. So therefore, the masah is not the same as the ghusl.
Sure.
The making masah of the hair is not the same as the wash limbs.
Sure. Understood.
Okay, so we'll stop there because the next part also needs some bit of explanation. Any other questions? Anything you didn't understand?
Not for myself, not sure.
Okay, inshallah. Jazakallah ma for the slight delay. Friday tomorrow and Ramadan the week.